Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we've got a bunch of little things that hopefully will really improve combat. Right now, combat feels kind of bland. The whole game is kind of bland because there's no sound attached to it. So the hope is that with a little bit of effort, we can hop in and make combat feel better just by adding noises and sounds to it. And then we'd also go so far as to say that we can improve combat with just some visual effects as well. And then we'll get back to, after today, we'll probably do more mechanics and more things that just need to be fully implemented. Morning, Lemony Fresh. So, let's see here. So we've still got our canned fight from yesterday, and this is decent, but the one thing I kind of want to do to some of this stuff, first off, before too many folks arrive, just get some small sound effects kind of spritzed in all along here. Specifically, I grabbed a pack of these things, and they've got some pretty cool stuff. You know, sounds for things like opening up inventory, and I don't know what the jingle for achievement is. Not bad, not great, not bad. It's something. Definitely a good start. Yeah. So there's some basic stuff that we can always throw in here, and every bit of this helps out the look and feel of the game. And it's interesting how content can change mechanics that already exist without any kind of actual modification to the code. Just by simply adding content, it makes things feel more visceral, or like they have a little more punch when you do something like add a screen shake or add a sound effect that has a good punchy sound to it. If you look at, what was it? I think it was Shadow of Mordor. Now I have to look it up. Yeah. Okay, definitely Shadow of Mordor. All of the kills in that game, the sound effects are just juicy, and so when you stab a guy, you feel like, oh, yeah, I popped his head like a balloon. And that makes the game feel that much more in touch with the kinetic energy of youth, you know, thrusting that sword forwards. So, let's see, let's start with some basic stuff, and then we'll move into some of the more interesting things. So first off, I just want to get an inventory opening sound tossed into place. Opening and maybe closing too, just to make it nice and symmetrical. So that happens when you click on the portrait. When you click on the portrait background, I guess I should say. No, really? You actually, oh, okay, you click on the portrait itself. Interesting. And that calls out to the player character. Okay. So pretty much we can attach the sound to either the player character or to the party itself. And that would be a decent way for us to handle that. Now, I just realized I don't actually have the sound. Good. Okay, we've got an inventory open. I'm actually going to go so far as to hunt it down in our folder here so that I can change its name slightly. It's just going to be inventory open. There we go. Morning, Whiteland. Glad you guys can join us. So, let's see here. Tempted to attach it to the party, but for now we'll just attach it to, yeah, we'll attach one to each of the player characters. Luckily, sounds are shared effects, so it doesn't actually instantiate multiple copies of the same thing. The only thing it's adding is a new audio source. And the audio source just holds essentially a shared reference to the same sound file. Keeps it from making copies of things that shouldn't. So here is our audio clip. Don't play on awake. That'd be silly. I think that's all we really need. Now, just to speed up this process a little bit, we can just copy a component and then paste as new. Yep. Paste as new. As new. Wait. Nice, simple stuff. Now, the only thing I don't like about having it on all four is that if I do want to make changes, I have to make changes to all four. Otherwise, the bags, when you open them, will sound different, and the sound effects will be different for each character. Yeah, good morning. Well, for me, it's morning. Also friggin' cold, but that's besides the point. Alright, so we've got this sound. And let's just hop into the code where you open that. Player character. Yep. As you can tell, I kind of just got up and just got to my computer before the stream started. I had enough time to tweet and like stuff food in my mouth. That was about it. Alright, where's our open inventory button? Oh, here it is. I was about to say, it should be with the public functions near the top. Okay. Audio source. And for now, since there's only one audio source, it's pretty obvious what we're going to be grabbing and calling. But in the future, we're probably going to have to hunt them down by name. Either start using a function that was suggested to me by a viewer a couple mornings ago, where we just call play play on the audio source, and that allows us to play it without having to add the component, I believe. I need to double check what that function was, but that should exist as a thing. So now, there we go. And then one more quick thing. Let's add a close sound when you dismiss it. So we've got inventory open. I'm going to use this one for close. It's not the greatest close sound, but we can always change these later. Just getting them put in place and getting the content and the function calls there to play the sounds is really all we need in the first place. Yeah. So let's see here. So it is the character window that we're making use of. And so that means to make a copy of the prefab just for a moment. Character window. So new component for audio that is going to be an audio source. We're going to grab our inventory close. Goes here. Don't play it on awake because that's silly. That should be good. So when we close the window, not only do we destroy the game object, but There we go. Nice and simple. Of course, can't play the disabled sound source. Interesting. Why is it disabled? Oh, because I called destroy first. Interesting. Okay. Tell it to play and then shut it down. Order of operations probably makes a bit of a difference here. Still not wanting to play. One thought here is that we call play and then we call destroy. So it probably is going to start playing and then just wipe the whole thing away mid-play, and so it's just going to stop playing the sound. We need to find a way around that. Specifically, I want to click and have it actually play without play clip at point. Ah. I think this might be what I'm hunting for. I think. So let's grab an audio clip. There we go. And we're going to play that. And we're going to play it at, that's actually an interesting question. Where do we play it in the world? I don't think I have the 3D sound stuff turned on, but I wouldn't put it past my system to be using something like that. Bizarre. Sorry, staring at OBS as it freaks out. Looked like it went down to 0 and then back to like 59,000 kilobits per second, and now it's evened out again at 2K. I don't know. I have no idea. Oh well, for now I have to come up with a position, so let's just use 0. God forbid. Or, actually, here we go. Dot, camera. Oh, that's deprecated. Okay. Party camera. There. Oh, wait. Of course we can't just say party camera. We actually have to get the position of the party camera. Here we go. So this should stop us from needing to have that audio clip actually attached to that object. They should, because I'm not completely certain that that is the case. But we'll do what we can. We'll see if it works. Audio clip. Apply. Sweet. Should be all we need. Let's see. Ah ha ha. There we go. Cool. Am I using the multi-platform version? I didn't know there was a non-multi-platform version of things in Unity. No, I'll have to look that up. Make sure I'm doing everything right. Alright, so two sounds down. Now, the next thing I kind of wanted to poke at, like I said, today's a bunch of little sprinkling of things. Combat, especially to the level of having objects in combat be able to have particle effects, other cool things attached to them. So I'm going to actually go so far as to remove a bunch of those. We're going to grab our monsters. I'm just going to put some bats in here because bats have and I'll toss the wolf in because why not? If I wanted to actually do this right, I'd do it like this, where wolf goes in top, bat goes in bottom. And let's see here. So he has the single bite attack, and that's all he can do. Let's add in a new attack. And I'm just going to push this up to the top, because having the animator be so far down is kind of silly. There we go. Get that out of there. Screeches. Yeah. Very low hit bonus. And very low weapon damage amount. Actually, we'll make it mediocre damage. But it targets the entire party. Now, here's the things that I want to do for this. First off, its animator has this attack sound wave. So that is our variable name. And then there also should be, somewhere on this thing, there should be an actual particle effect that I can turn on and off for the duration of the animation. Now, the hard part's going to be hunting it down because I have no idea where it should be. Because we have all the bones and all the different pieces, but the question is... tail VFX. No, that's actually not it, hilariously enough. Maybe I unattached it. I wouldn't put it past me to do something silly like that. Where is that? Forest Bat. Animation. Controllers. Materials. Yeah, close. Okay. VFX, sound wave, blue, green, red, and yellow. Let's just start with making it, I don't know, red is kind of a nice angry color. And let's attach it to the head the same way other things are, just so that it's up at the right position. I can't help but note that it still looks a little low. Okay, what if we attach it to this thing's bone structure? Can't actually tell if it's moving with it or not. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. I kind of want it a little higher is the only thing. Okay. So X. There we go. That's much better. Y can be there. And Z, let's bring it forwards a bit. Whoop. Okay, not the number I want to be messing with. I actually want to be better. That's not so bad. Let's see. Having it originate at the back isn't terrible either. There we go. That's the look I like. Having it actually originate out of the front. Okay, 0.25, 0.5 off of the... Oh, okay, cool. It just did that. And normally we're going to turn it off. That is overkill. But in the case of this attack, I actually want it attached there so that we can turn it off and turn it back on when it does the attack. Sweet. So it looks normal, usually, and then when it does the attack, it should turn it on and off. Now, I don't actually know whether it does that. Oh, you mean OBS? Oh, okay. That I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm using whatever Windows version they have, since that's all I really know about OBS. Executron says, instead of attaching enemies to a grid node, why not do a roll for an enemy every time the party moves or so? A meter or so. I do that as well. I do rolls also based on movement, but for testing purposes, I needed a scripted fight that I could know was going to happen. So it made it easier to just put scripted fights down. Interesting. So that screech went by so quickly, I didn't actually see if it dealt damage or did anything else. Huh. Whoops. I'm just mashing dodge. Okay, so it works for the most part. The only thing that's going on here that I'm not a huge fan of is the fact that it moves through the characters so quickly. And it's been doing that for all group attacks. So I need to figure out a way to tack a little bit of extra time in to our combat actions if it's a group attack, which is not hard. All I need to do first off, let's get this out of here. If hit so what's essentially happening is because I have a manual timer inside of the combat window that says while we're processing combat, at the end of each action, we have our own wait. I'm trying not to trigger that wait. The problem is now I'm kind of playing around that a little too much. It works fine for single swing attacks, but any attack that has more than one character in it, it's causing some trouble. So if so if it's not the last character, he was asking, how long have I been working on this game? I think I'm up to video number 41 or 42 now. So that's about probably 60 to 70 hours of work, plus whatever, you know, I don't do in my on-stream time, which is more than I'll ever admit. That's working out a lot better. Okay, cool. That looks good. Alright, so we've got ability effects now showing up. We've got some sounds attached to certain parts of the game, but not all parts of the game. I'm actually going to flip through the sound effects here and see if there's anything else that I think would be nice to have in here. I definitely like the spells, the idea of attaching clips to spells and being able to play them. Spells are kind of funny sounding. Really funny sounding. That literally sounds like a car driving off, not a spell. Yeah, these have. And that's the car driving off again. Good metallic sounds, though. The clank and the crunch sounds very good. Interesting. Okay. Let's see here. I wanted to add sound effects to spells, but these aren't terribly great sound effects, honestly. Makes me wonder if I found any others on OpenGameArt that I could make use of. I was digging through this previously. Open Game Art, yeah, Open Game Art has a lot of good noises, and definitely makes life a lot easier if you know where to look and know what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for, it can be a great source of inspiration, but it can also be a little crazy to find anything on here. So it's a back and forth thing. I mean, decent, you know, sounds, just... Also, some of them are really low quality, so it's hard sometimes to pick out what's useful and interesting and what's garbage. Because that's open source for you. Yeah, not a huge fan of those. You sound like a... Ah, got it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to... Those are decent. That sounded weird. I'll give it a shot out of pure curiosity to see if these are any good. Oh, there's only 5 of them. And I think I heard all of them. Never mind. I was kind of hoping there'd be more there. Oh, well. So yeah, maybe I'll skip off on the whole working on the rest of these. Sounds like we like noises. Yeah, definitely does. I can see myself hearing those while playing like the Wii U, you know, the sports games or something. And here's kind of an example of, once again, it's open source, so you get high and low quality mixed together, and you have to figure out what you think is which. Like, you end up with sounds like this. Not that high quality. You could have a much cleaner sound. Hello. A little over the top, but I don't mind over the top right now. Especially if it gets the point across. You know, like I said, not all of these have to come through immediately. All it has to do is be good enough that I can flip through it, get an idea of what I want, and then show a sound designer, look, I want to sound like this, but I want it to match the art style. I need the noises to match the effects and art that I have in place. And having information like that really helps a sound designer come up with the audio feel for the game. Because if you have nothing to go on and you just kind of say, yeah, I just wanted to do this, it's a lot more difficult for them to create something from scratch than it is for them to come up with something that matches things that already exist in the world. It's really easy to sit there and say, oh, okay, he's got a spell effect that looks like this. So when you sling the spell, I want the spell's effect to sound like this as the shot goes out. Let's see what they have for spells. That does not sound like a shock at all. Okay, these are terrible. Please tell me there's something here. That's literally a door opening. Okay. Alright, you know what? I'm not going to screw with these anymore. I am a little too... Yeah, a little too disappointed with the sounds in this pack to really feel the need to keep going with this, at least for now. That hit literally sounds like somebody slapping or like high-fiving themselves. No. Nope, nope, out it goes. Alright, well let's see what else. Aside from sound, what else can we do to make combat feel a little more alive? The biggest thing is that spells right now have no effects attached to them. When you cast a spell, it doesn't really do anything other than it's kind of the same as combat, right? You hear, eventually you will hear the sword swinging, you will hear the hit or the miss, and that'll be about it. Versus spells, I want to see projectiles going out. I want to see things getting lobbed at each other, whether it's the monsters lobbing things at us or us lobbing things at the monsters. There still should be some level of attack there that we should be able to handle. I'm just quickly flipping through. Yeah, I didn't think the wolf had any effects, but I wanted to make sure there wasn't anything like that attached to it. Also, I don't think we need the legacy copy of everything. I think it is just overkill. Let's delete that. Just to kind of size down everything in the array of assets. Mostly because when you get to a point like this where your game starts to get too big, you want to make sure that you're not having all these extra assets sitting around inside your repository. If it's taking up space and isn't being generally useful, then it's probably a safe bet that you can throw them out. And luckily, because of the way Unity does its assets, we can always bring the stuff back if we need. Get rid of all that. That's a decent amount of content to get rid of. All right. How do we do this? Projectiles. That'll be an interesting one. First off, the bat and wolf aren't going to be able to throw projectiles. So let's skip over them. Let's use an NPC. Get in a fight with one of the fairies. Whoa. Hoping you guys see that too. Look at that. Our shader is messing with the object in question here. Also, this character is really far back. No, that's correct. Yeah, look at that. The spots where the fog comes through, it's like she's not writing to the render, or to the depth buffer. And because she's not writing to the depth buffer, the fog is then proceeding to overwrite it. Interesting. Okay, real quick check. I want to see exactly what material we're using for her. So it's an unlit texture. So that explains a few things. One, it explains the lack of shadow. Lack of shadow is dumb. We shouldn't have a lack of shadow. Also, there we go. She is indeed allowed to have a shadow. So that's something to keep in mind. I didn't realize that certain shaders simply didn't write to our depth buffer. Kind of scary, honestly. She's getting kind of scarier by the second. Let's not have her actually emit so much light. No? That's not gonna... I'm trying to come up with a shader here that not only matches the character, but matches the look still. So it allows her to have a shadow, that's important. It writes to the depth buffer, that's important. And it also allows her to still look kind of bright and cheery. Something that the other ones weren't exactly allowing this character to do. Fairy. Interesting. Well, that'll work for now. We'll figure it out more later. So, things about the fairy that we have to handle. First off, I don't think she actually has a spell. So we need to add that in. Right, she has a punch. Which I don't think that's a decent... Yeah, it's a throw projectile. Does she have anything else in her animation that could be useful? Spellcast. There we go. That is exactly what I'm hunting for here. Let's see here. Spellcast. That would be a new script. Combat action for us. That would be what would the spell a fairy would cast be? I don't know. If we could go with Pokemon references, we could do Razor Leaf, right? I'm not so keen on those myself, so I'm a little more tempted to go with something like and then we'll give it a decent hit bonus and say it hits the front row. And we'll make it a bad idea to mess with her. Spellcast. And I don't think she has a particle effect attached to her that we can make use of here. At least not yet. Oh no. Oh, the swirling petals is a different effect. Got it. Question is, does she have anything in her model set that we can use? Because most of these came with, aha, VFX. Oop. But we probably want to attach that to her hands. Having it kind of go from her feet doesn't make a ton of sense. Where's that VFX? There it is. Come on. There we go. Let's see. How do we get the sucker to actually do what we want to do from where we want it to do it? I'm gonna hit play and then just zoom in on her myself and see if I can't figure this out. Okay. So I've got this arm index 3. Oh, okay. Literally index is index fingers. Okay, so we can just attach it to this, per se. And we'll get rid of its weird transform effects. The fact that it's pointed forwards, I'm tempted to ignore. Let's see, if she does her spellcast. Okay, that's not the right one. Low petals. Either that or we could attach it to her directly. Just to not mess with anything. And then just say, okay, no extra rotation parameters. We don't keep it at her feet, so to speak, though. We pull it up little higher, and a little further out. Right, so she's supposed to look like she's actually blowing the petals. There we go. Let's apply these changes. Oh, Fred, it's gonna reset this, isn't it? Of course it is. There we go. And we'll turn it off by default. That should do the trick. Should be all we need. Actually, don't see why I left her in the scene. Gosh, that character is so far back. It's so weird in comparison to... Just gonna see if that's right. Let's put a second character in. Let's put... I don't know, a bat. Simple other thing that just should make sure that this is working correctly. Yeah, they're at the same distance out. Okay. My guess is that for longer characters like wolves, I need that distance away from the party. Otherwise, yeah, they start to clip off the bottom of the screen. Makes some sense. It also helps that the field of view opening makes it look like they're further out, even though in reality it's not. Okay. Oh crud, I just realized one more thing. This should not be spellcast. This should be... Blowing petals. Try that again. I didn't realize my description had to be so intact. Wow, she's got a decent punch. Oh, yeah, no wonder. Her hit bonus is 8. Of course she has a decent punch. Oh, come on, stop punching people in the party. Cast a spell. There we go. Oh, look at that. That's a neat effect. The only thing I wish is that there was some way to keep it in this animation. That's the only thing I really wish. That's not going to help. I'm fairly certain that's not going to lend a hand at all. I need some way to essentially, in the animator, go from blow petals to holding that pose, where her hand is out and the petals are going forwards, and then letting go of the pose when the attack is done. Kind of in the same way that... Yeah. I'm trying to think of some way to get that done, but that's a pure content thing, and I'm not sure I want to mess with it right now. Either way, we're adding more effects, and these effects work and look pretty darn good, so they're adding a little bit of punch to the game. It's not a ton, but it's enough. Of course, if anybody could hit our fairy NPC, we'd get to see her take damage. There we go. What? What happened to all of my character's abilities to cast a spell? You notice that? Party, what happened? For some reason, everyone's spell weaving got set to 0. That's weird. Okay, there we go. Just wanted to make sure I didn't like bork anything too horribly. I must have clicked and dragged something accidentally. Whoops. Alright, so we've got some more effects. We've got some other things going on. We've got some sounds. Let's see, what else can we do to make this game feel a little more, for lack of better words, a little juicier. Let's make walking make sound, because right now without walking making noise, it sounds, I don't know, it sounds like it's definitely lacking something. Footsteps. Most of these sound good for first-person games. Not so sure about third person, or I guess technically, yeah, I guess technically this is third person. I could have a bunch of dirt sounds and alternate between them to make it sound different on each step. I do like the footsteps through water. That actually sounds really good. Note how clean the sounds are. There's no extra noise. It's not fuzzy or hazy. It's just a clean sound. Very clean, very straight through. The sound starts and ends at the right time. It's not overly long, but it still gets the point across. Those are really good sound effects. These I can appreciate, and I think could make their way into a good game. Let's just grab a small handful of these and just use a bunch. For now, I'm just going to grab 5 of them. Don't need a ton of sound effects, but these aren't terribly large either, so I don't mind making use of them. Making use of a lot of them specifically. Let's go into our party class. And there's an on-party navigation here, I believe. Oh, really? Is there not an on-party navigation? What moves the party? Okay, first off, it's just called on navigation. Secondly, yeah, it's called from inside the party. Okay, the party doesn't have a specific call itself, but it's pretty close. And we're going to put more, this is going to be an audio clip array, specifically because we want to be able to randomly pick our, what I'm going to call the dirt step sound. And we're just going to play a random one out of the set each time it asks us to. So we'll say audio source dot play clip at point. The point is going to be the party's camera position, and the audio clip is going to be one of the random ones from the dirt step sound group. So we need random range between 0 and the dirt step sound dot length. And the position is the party camera's position. Yeah, didn't think I could shortcut that at all. But just a thought, just in case. And the reason I threw that into a helper function is because I've got more than one place where I need that logic to exist. And I didn't want to copy and paste the logic. I just wanted to toss the function in a couple places and be done with it. Party, come here. Have some sounds we need to make. Specifically these 5. You, and you, and you, and you, and you. Eventually what we'll do is we'll hop in and actually start to make modifications to the sounds. So we'll say, okay, here's your dirt sounds, here's your grass sounds, here's your water sounds, and stone, and anything else we can walk through, so that it sounds like we have a group of people walking everywhere we go. And it makes more sense of where you're walking, because right now, obviously, everything is just, it's going to sound like dirt every step we take. Whoops. I did not mean to walk right into that fight. See? Not bad. Also, this is kind of hilarious. Just a little bit, though. I love how it's creating these one-shot audio objects in my game. Let's try it. There we go. I'm just curious what this is made up of. So it generates a transform with an audio source, and then it literally deletes itself when it's done. Okay. Curiosity has been... And that doesn't sound bad either. I like it. Obviously, we don't have any other things to walk across. At least not yet, so it all sounds like walking across dirt. But it still adds some more punch, some more feel to the game. Whenever you walk around, oh look, we're taking steps. And it feels like you're actually walking around a little more than it does previously when we were just kind of quietly floating about the map. What else, what else, what else? Do we have anything else we want to toss in before time is up for today? I would say ambiance, but ambiance is a little more difficult. Specifically because I'd like to be able to fade between points. As I walk around, I'd like to be able to have things actually... There we go, there's the fight I wanted to get into. I was kind of hoping that I could have some kind of set of sounds that would play in certain areas, and I could just set those up in the world map, and I wouldn't have to fight with them existing anywhere in the actual scripting system. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I have much else I can get done in such a short period of time. So, thank you guys for joining me. It has been good getting some of these more content-based effects put into place. We'll probably go for something a little more technically challenging next time. I honestly don't have anything planned for tomorrow yet, but I'll figure something out. If you follow me on Twitter, you will definitely see when I go online. Also, you can follow me here in Twitch. You'll get emails when I go online. You can always know when I'm on, so you don't miss a thing. If you do miss anything, don't worry. I'm keeping my YouTube channel up to date. I think we're up to video number 40 at this point. I've been at this for more than a month now. About a month and almost 2 weeks. So we're definitely cresting into the period where we have to find more content, more information and data to smash into this game. But at the same time, there's always more code work to do. So don't think that I'm ever going to stop coding on this thing. Because as soon as I find a new feature that I want to go in, for example, you guys saw the treasure chest prefab floating around here. Not only did I get the content working on this finally, and I'll just kind of show you what we got here. Hey, look, it's, you know, a chest. Hey. The other thing to note is that you can say, let's open it. Ah! Has a good look and feel to it, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm having too much fun with my own treasure chest. Having too much fun with my own chest. Anyway, so I want to put traps on this thing, right? That's one of those things in the list that we definitely need. You need to be able to have traps. You need to disarm the traps to get to the goodies on the inside. You need to be able to collect goodies from the inside. There's all kinds of stuff that needs to happen with treasure chests. We have to finish the lockpicking game. There's a couple visual things that I'd like to get right, and I'd like to add some sounds to that too. Make this kind of a little more complete of a creative experience. If some parts have sound and others don't, it's noticeable and it's a little weird. So now that we've started to add sound in one place, we want to have sound everywhere else. What else do I have? Environment interactions, levers, switches, things you can play with in the environment, puzzles to solve, that kind of stuff. So there's always more work to be done. So don't worry, I'll be at this for quite a while longer. If you think 40 videos at about an hour a piece is a lot, wait until we're hitting the 1 to 200 point. Then you'll think it's a lot. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining me, and have a great day. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow.